I swear, any woman who has been divorced, in that year, you have red.
I swear any lady who has been separated from in that year, you realize you have warnings on the off chance that it won't work. I did. That is the way you say you're Jenny. May they separated in light of the fact that it was claimed that they couldn't settle on specific things with regards to family values and assumptions. You realize we've simply consistently cases why I recently realized that this won't turn out for me right. So I needed to sort out some way to change without losing all that. Apparently Jeezy and Jeannie have been arranging an act from the start, as the most recent reports recommend they are dropping their separation, trying to rescue their marriage anyway. The curve in this story is that it appears they might have never truly expected to separate from in any case. Rather, this whole trial could have been an intricate exposure stunt coordinated to advance Jeezy's approaching book. On the off chance that these reports turn out as expected, one can't resist the urge to ask why Jenny would agree to such a public embarrassment. Let me spill the tea. Obviously, before I say anything, ensure first that you buy into our channel and hit that notice chime for additional updates and recordings. Like this moment, we should make a plunge, people. Each opportunity we get refreshes on Jeannie Mai and Jeezy's separation. The story takes a more interesting turn, and it's beginning to feel like an enormous joke. There are whirling bits of gossip proposing that Jeezy could before long cancel the separation, demonstrating a craving to accommodate with Jeannie. Incredibly, a few sources are in any event guaranteeing that the separation documenting was never a certifiable aim, yet rather a determined move to produce buzz for Jeezy's impending book. It's practically dreamlike that in 2023 we're actually seeing such PR tricks. For me, assuming I'm truly fair, understanding what I know now about who I wedded, I could never have hitched him. I swear any lady who has been separated from in that year, you realize you have warnings in the event that it won't work. I did honestly when this news previously hit me. I was genuinely shocked. I actually intend what's going on the planet 2 or 3 retreats to such strategies for exposure, yet upon closer examination, it appears to be conceivable that Jeezy and Jenny were to be sure testing our sanity to make buzz for his book. The planning of the separation declaration, coming not long after Jeannie's post about the book, ought to have been a significant piece of information. These PR stunts are truly pushing the limits. Nowadays, I'm discussing the post where she posted a charming image of her and her girl, and said, "Today, I commend an exceptional achievement accomplished by my better half Jeezy, whose diary misfortune Purcell has taken off to the New York Times hit list. This second isn't a declaration to your scholarly abilities, child, yet an acknowledgement of your capacity to rouse through the influence of narrating. I'm perpetually thankful for your voice in this world, respected to stroll next to you. My affection." The planning of the separation declaration could never have been more advantageous, particularly considering Jeezy had at first sought legal separation way back in June. Holding on until the book bargain was clinched appears as though an essential move, since fresh insight about the separation broke fans have been persistently attempting to sort out the riddle of why this apparently out-of-nowhere division happened at this point. Regardless of the amount we endeavored to translate what is happening, the pieces didn't exactly fit. And you all petition for legal separation is over, better believe it, cause generally folks don't strike not profound like that, nah. So anything it might at any point have been various hypotheses begun flowing. Some guessed that Jenny might have had an illicit relationship with her have Mario Lopez. Individuals highlighted their coy on-screen science and their trouble in keeping their hands off one another during communicates. Anyway, sources from Jeannie's side fervently denied these bits of hearsay, affirming that she had never been untrustworthy to Jeezy. They demanded that their relationship with Mario was absolutely dispassionate, and that individuals were adding a lot to a blameless association. Then the show took a much more insane wind when Jeannie's previous co-have Tamar Braxton said something regarding her new show Tamar recommended that Jenny probably accomplish something truly off base for Jeezy to start separate from procedures. After all, when legal documents are documented, it, as a rule, connotes the stopping point in a relationship. Tamar implied that men regularly don't make such radical strides except if they've been profoundly harmed genuinely, so anything that the explanation might be what might have driven this separation choice. There's no great explanation for why a man leaves his significant other or petition for legal separation number. One is another lady pushing him to do it. Oak or number two is something genuine following regularly. There are two fundamental justifications for why a man leaves his significant other or starts separate from first. It very well maybe the impact of another lady pushing him that way. Second, something fundamentally troubling might have happened at last. A source let the cat out of the bag to eat and asserted that Jeezy and Jeannie Mai's looming divorce originated from varying perspectives. They were not adjusted when it came to specific family values and assumptions, and both felt their necessities weren't by and large completely met. While this clarification appears to be conceivable, it didn't exactly accumulate. In spite of coming from various ethnic foundations, Jenny and Jeezy had consistently kept up with that. Their disparities turned out flawlessly for them. A few hypothesized that strains emerged when Jeannie's mom and sibling moved in with them soon after marriage, possibly making grading that ultimately driven the separation, particularly since Jeannie herself conceded on the Shamboody digital broadcast that she and her mother both had blazing attitudes. This additional a captivating turn to the story. He presently have asserted that Jenny's mother isn't the very most straightforward to reside with. For instance, Jenny has conceded in the past that both she and her mother have truly hot attitudes, and she expressed this on the Shamboody web recording. Dealing with one hot attitude can be testing, yet managing two can unquestionably be all in all an errand. After the source's disclosure to eat hypothesis began twirling that Jenny's relationship with her family could play had a huge influence in the marriage breakdown. Some called attention to that Jeezy doesn't have a cozy relationship with his close family, as they're not on extraordinary conditions, which could have made it challenging for him to comprehend and adjust to Jeannie's family values anyway. The condition didn't appear to include keep going. Monteith showed up on Influence's digital broadcast where he lauded Jeannie's family values, as well as communicated his profound esteem for the powerful she imparted to her family. He even expressed that she was very much like them. Hush, what's more, he discussed how her qualities had spurred him to patch his stressed relationship with his dad Jeezy, transparently imparted his endeavors to reconstruct connections to his cousins and other more distant family individuals, generally enlivened by Jeannie's family values. This disclosure portrayed a man who truly appreciated and embraced the family values Jeannie brought into their relationship. First stay at the specific employment. Folks, hello, glad for Vietnamese, where we're both original. I will have her connect me with some Vietnamese. I know somewhat socially. Her family is unbelievably affectionate, cultivating major areas of strength for a fellowship. This tight security inside her family has impacted my own recognizable cooperations. In the beyond 5 years, I've invested more energy with my dad than I have in all my years up to that point. A seriously surprising change. It became apparent, but the reasons given for their separation were somewhat baffling and alluded to something more perplexing. Curiously, every one of the sources appear to advantageously recommend that Jenny was the impetus for the separation. It seemed like they were attempting to safeguard Jeezy's public picture, particularly offered the consideration earned by his book. Anyway, the account veered off in a strange direction when insiders uncovered that Jenny was not looking for a separation. After every one of the source addressed page 6 and guaranteed she would have been challenging separation, saying Jeannie Mai is crushed that her marriage is finished and needs her nuclear family back. The fact of the matter is Jeannie believes her marriage should work, believes her family should be one strong unit. She is crushed that Jeezy petitioned for legal separation. Jenny profoundly cherishes Jeezy and she believes that everything should pan out. She didn't get hitched to get separated. From that was not a piece of the arrangement. This present circumstance turns out to be more reasonable. When we consider Jeannie's past position on marriage, after her underlying separation, she had communicated areas of strength for her to marry again, dreading another excruciating separation experience. The flow conditions appear to be a long way from what she had imagined. In spite of Jeezy petitioning for legal separation, Jeannie stays hopeful, trusting that they can plump down and resolve their disparities to watch out for their family. The separation procedures give off an impression of being loaded with inconsistencies and irregularities, adding to the general disarray. As opposed to giving lucidity, the reports encompassing their separation just compound the riddle for reasons unknown. The word on the road.